Hello everyone, this is the Mining Geologist and I'm back again with another very exciting and very informative tutorial. Earlier this year, I've created a series of videos in which I showed you how to do design inside Micromine, whether it is OpenBit design, waste design, or even row design. And I've also created a video that shows you a really cool hack that will save you a lot of time when doing bit design. If you are interested in these kind of things, I will leave the link to these videos somewhere in here. But if you are into geology and implicit modeling, then I just started a new series in which I'm going to cover implicit modeling tools inside Micromine. So for the people who've been around for a while now, or for everyone who've checked my previous videos, you will notice that I also have a video in which I covered implicit modeling inside Micromine. But that was using the version 2021, I believe. And we're using the version 2022 now. So what's the difference? It's the amazing team from Micromine. They've introduced new features and we need to cover that. If you guys watched the previous video, you will notice that, and I used the same data set, you'll notice that I was creating each one of these lithological layers one by one and then go to the wireframe boolean and then trying to cut each one of these by the other one based on some lithological sequence. But that's going to be time consuming, assuming especially if you have like a lot of lithological layers and some complex lithology. But now we don't have to worry about that because we have this new feature which is introduced in the version 2022 of Micromine, which is called the Geology model or the Geology modeler. So what this one is going to do is you just import the drill hole database and you need to make sure that you have this kind of data set. So you have like these stacked, this is what, this is the best kind of data that's going to work with this one. It's these kind of stacked, lithology layers, and they're very defined, very clean, so you don't have to worry about modeling that, manually or one by one, because now you have this geology model. It's going to do that automatically, so you just import the drill hole database, and you define this, stratigraphic sequence, and just a couple of push of a button and you will have the full geological model. And of course, like any other software, you can update that with some strings or some points if you don't like the way specific lithological layers look, like the way you do it in any other implicit modeling software. And Micromine now, I believe they're if they keep on updating these kind of things and implementing these features every year, I believe that Micromine is going to be the best end-to-end software for mining. So you can do like really great implicit modeling inside Micromine, not like the other mining packages. And you can take that to resource estimation. They have a lot of amazing tools for block modeling and resource estimation, and you can do the full miner planning process in Micromine. That's why I really like the software. So let's go and do that and see how this new feature of the geology model works inside, in the new version of Micromine. So the first thing that you need to do is, of course, you need to have a drill hole database. And if you don't know how to do that, you know me, I don't start something just in the middle. And if I start something in the middle, it means that I already covered that in the past. So you will find the video appearing somewhere in here on how to import a drill hole database inside Micromine, and I got you covered. Okay, so the next thing is you go to the implicit menu and then you choose geology model, and you can see that in the past we have only these, inside lithology you have only these features in here by you know, if you have like intrusion or contact, you can just model like one single geological layer at a time. But now we have these two new features in here. We have the vein network. You can create a full vein network, you know, implicitly and automatically using this option here. We might cover that in the next video if you want so. And we have also the Geology Modeler or Geology model. That's what we are going to use today. So let's go and fire that up. Okay, so in the input, of course, it's going to be our drill hole database. And like I mentioned, you'll find that how to create drill hole database inside Micromine in that video that I've showed you in here. This is our drill hole database. So the next thing is the topography, and you might have a topography or you might not. So if you don't have a topography, just say no, I don't have a topography. And that's really what I like about, you know, these forms in Micromine. They're self-explanatory. So even if you don't know or using this tool for the first time, so you know what you're doing. This, I need to start here, a drill hole database. Okay, what's next? Topography. No, I don't have topography. You can generate topography from the color. So Micromine is gonna do like a wireframe around this one and get you a topography out of that, out of the drill holes. Or maybe you have a topography as a wireframe. You can navigate to your triangulation database in here and then choose the topography that you have. And there you go. So about this one, if you're deciding to use like your own wireframe topography, your DDM, make sure that it covers a wider area than the drill holes that or your model extent, because if you have like a topography that stops somewhere in here, that's not going to work and might generate some errors for you. So make sure that you have a topography that's a little bit wider than the area that you want to model. In our case, we don't have topography, but we're going to generate them from the colors. Okay, faults. Also, this is something really amazing. You can now model faults implicitly if you have an event file in which you have all the different faults logged in the drill holes. So you can choose that event file, you can choose the code field, the dip field, and the dip direction, and then you can, you know, populate all the different faults in here, fill in the forms the way we're going to do in the lithology. Also, you have like a sequence in here, which one is the oldest. You go from the oldest in the bottom, the youngest in the top, and then the fault interactions, which one cuts the other one and which one stops when it meets the other one. And this is really easy. But if you think this is a little bit confusing, I will try to find a data set in which we have a fault system and we can model that together and show you how it works. But trust me, it's not really that complicated. So lithology, it's almost the same thing. So I need to use an interval file. So interval file in our case is going to be our geology table in here. And that geology table, what is the lithology field? Well, the lithology field, let's check all the different fields. Is it the from? Is it the to? Of course not. It's the lithology in here. So let's select that one. And then what we can do is we can create a color set. Okay, so we can go and create a color set. Let me just remove these and show you something. Okay, so I need to go to assign, and this is what this is going to do. It's going to look at the geology and then look at the field lithology and generate or look at the unique values inside that lithology in here. So, and give me all the different lithological layers that exist in that geology table. Okay, and you can see that these are the unique values. So we have F1, the frequency. So there's 14, 40, and then 36, 31, and so on. Now, what I can do is I can click on this one. It's going to import all of them at once. I click on OK, and then I can assign some colors to them. But no, I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you in a moment why. So I'm going to do it one by one. I'm going to start with F6. Sorry. I'm going to start with F6, then F5, F4. Yeah, and they're already structured now. That's 3, 2, 1. If you see them in the same way here, then you can do that. But if they're like F6, then F2, then I don't know, they're not ordered based on the stratigraphic sequence, make sure to order them in here in the color set so that you don't waste time on doing them later on. I'll show you in a moment. So let's click on OK. So in my case, F1 is the oldest, so it's going to be in the bottom here. F6 is the youngest, it's going to be on the top. So let's go and choose some cool colors and modify them a little bit. So I'm going to make F1 red. This one I'm going to make it yellow. This one I'm going to make it green. This one maybe orange. And this one I'm going to make it blue. And F6, something pinky would work. And click on OK. Now we have all the color sets in here. So what I can do, I have the option here, which is name from color set. If I click on this one, you can see that I have them in the same order of the color set. They have F6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. If they were not, ordered in a stratigraphic, based on the stratigraphic sequence in the color set, you'll find like F6, then F2, then F3, I don't know, and which is not what we want. So we need to order them. So you find yourself deleting this and inserting another one. So this is one way to do that. Okay. So when you're happy with this one and you're sure that this is the way you want them to be, you can go and choose this option here, which is auto create form set. Okay, so I'm gonna go and choose deposition for this one, and you can see that you have all these options. So like vein network, solid, intrusion, vein, deposition, erosion. So you can decide based on your geological interpretation or your knowledge of that area what kind of model type you want to choose for that specific layer. So you can use multiple ones in the same, in the same model. So let me choose all of them as deposition in here so that show you how it works. And then we have the correlate above option here, which means that we have we model the F1, and then when we model F2, F1 is going to stop on the F2, and F2 is going to stop on the F3, and we can choose to do that just for specific lithological layer if we want, but in our case we're going to do that for all of them. Okay, so we are going to have, and be sure that we have a perfectly stacked lithological layers in one wireframes in one model. Okay, so for the background geology control for the basement, I'm going to choose F1 is going to be our basement, and I'm going to leave everything by default. So you can play around with this one if you want, but I keep that by default and try to, if you want to update something, I try to use strings and points to guide the model where I want it to be. Okay, then I need to click on this one. You can see since we have F6 in the data set, it's gonna create the same name for that one. So let's go and look at this one. You can see that this is F6, detected that automatically, and it did the same thing for all of these, so we don't have to worry about this. But maybe you are going to change the name to Formation X, but that that's F6. You need to change. You need to pick that manually in the model form in here. Okay. Also, if you have some input points, some additional points, you can go and use this option in here. Okay, so we're happy with this one. We go to the next one, which is the extent. You can calculate that automatically, and maybe you can look at that or edit it if you want, but we're happy with that one, so we're going to leave it the way it is. And this is basically the output. The output, you can use the full lithology. So the full lithology, this is going to generate the full lithology in here. So let's go and choose, or maybe let's go and create a new one. New type, I'm going to call this Geological model, and click on OK. And the prefix, so since we are going to have different lithologies, so what is the prefix in here? I'm going to call this, I'm going to say Geology maybe, and add a dash. If you have faults, you can create fault blocks. You can create clip planes as wireframes. You can generate contact surfaces, or you can generate the topography also if you want. So since we are going to create one from the color, but we are not going to do any of these for the moment, and I'm going to click on auto load and run this. So it should not take a lot of time, and it's really fast. But even if this is going to take like 2 to 3 minutes, that's going to be added to the video. So I'm going to pause the video here and continue when we have the model. So let's go and run this. All right, it's finished. So let's go and check our model. And this is really amazing. So the first thing that you will notice is that we have some sort of a topography. We didn't create that, but you can see that, you can judge that based on the different colors. You can see that this lithological layer stops or has a shape on the top in here that represents some sort of a topography that was created from the different um, colors. And this looks good. It might be confusing because you have different colors from the like they're not the same colors um, in the drill holes, but you get the idea. So you can see that we have some really perfectly looking stacked geological layers. We can probably, dig out one of these and you can see that this is the other one, and yeah, they're stacked on the top of each other. And this is really cool feature introduced by Micromine, and this is gonna save you a lot of time. And yeah, I was really waiting for this feature, and I also mentioned that in the previous video. If you go and check it, you'll notice that I already mentioned that I'm waiting for such a feature, and there you go. They did it, and they're really crushing it, and this is really amazing, and it's going to get a lot of improvements in the upcoming months and years, and I believe this is going to be like the top industry software. Okay, so that was cool. So let me just quickly show you a really good thing. And this is for the people who hate implicit and they want to do everything explicitly. So I got something for you guys. You don't have to worry. So what is this thing? It's this one. So usually if you want to model something a geological layer explicitly, so you go and let me go and define a section, and let me turn snap here, right click. So what you do is you go, let's say model this this F3. Maybe you want to model that using different strings. So what you do is you go to design and you create a polygon, a new string, and you try to snap to that one, turn off snap, and then you create something like this, snap again. Okay, and then you probably snap here, and you go section by section. And one way to do that to help you is you create a new view in here, and then you put that aside in here. Maybe you look like a 3D view, and then you can move to the different section, or maybe plan view, and we can go to this one here, go to section and move plane, and we can go and move the plane and see that it's somewhere around here. Okay, and you can see that we have that one again, and you can go and model that. But I don't want to waste your time, guys, and I already did that, something very simplistic. So let's go and look at that one. It's the F3 string in here, and you can see that I'm trying to model this really roughly just to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go and close this one and go back to the top view, and you can see that I have all of that one there. So this is usually what you do as someone who likes explicit geological modeling. But then what you do is you start doing some wireframing manually. So you create a wireframe that is going in a linear way, so you just close this one to this one and this one to this one. Well, Micromine got you covered. They don't want you to waste your time anymore, and there's a new feature that you can use if you go to Implicit, and we have what we call here the Polygon or Polygon Modeler or whatever, Polygon Modeling. And if you hover in here, you notice that use an RBF, radial basis function, to interpolate data from closed strings or polygon. That's really self-explanatory. So you created your polygons, but now you don't want to, do the wireframing manually, and you want like a smooth wireframe out of these different polygons. Well, you can use this function, and it's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to give you like really cool results. So let's use that and see how it works. Basically, you have our F3 string, and you have all the different things that's filled automatically there. You go to the option, and you leave everything by default unless you want to play around with these and try different results and you see how it looks. You just calculate the extent automatically. You calculate the extent automatically. You can also edit the extent if you want. And then what you do is you go to output and you choose the triangulation database. So I'm gonna go and maybe use the PIT just to show you how it looks. And this, I'm gonna call this RBF from strings, and I'm gonna close that to the bounding box, which means that we're gonna close the different wireframes by the bounding box of the geological model that you want to create, which means this extent. And then I'm going to snap the wireframe to input data, simplify the wireframe, and I'm going to auto load that when it is finished. And let's go and run this and see the results. We're going to wait a few moments, building the wireframes. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you're watching this video for the first time and you're into mining, geology, geoscience in general, this is what this channel is all about. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified whenever I post something new. So you can see that we have a really cool wireframe that is built automatically, and let's go and show you something that is amazing here. It's valid, so you don't have to worry about validation, and maybe you want to modify this one, so you can go and update that string, and this is going to update the wireframe for you. Go and calculate that again, and it's going to update so let me go and show you how that works. So I can go and define a new section, and I'm going to hide this one here, and I'm going to hide the strings. So let me go and create a section here, load that string again, and maybe I want to make this, I don't know, let's just mess around with the data. So maybe I want this to be, let me turn off snapping just to show you. So now it looks like this. Okay, so what if I want this to be this way? Just my own interpretation, just to show you how it looks. And then I'm gonna save that string. Even explicit modeling is really, you have things that's gonna save you a lot of time. So maybe I have that one there. So let's go to implicit and then go to Polygon, and I'm gonna leave everything the way it is, and just I want you to focus on this area here. Let's go and run this, and I want to override that one. So I'm just trying this live with you guys to see if it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, and by the way, it stopped here because that's the limit of the extent, so it's not an error. And you can see that we've updated that the way we want it to be, and this is really cool, and this is really amazing feature from Micromine again. So you have everything that you need. You want to do the implicit, you have a lot of tool for implicit. You want to do explicit, do it explicit, but we're gonna save you some time. That's what they're saying. So I hope again that this video was informative, and I'm looking forward to your comments in the comment section below and to see what you guys want to see exactly. What do you want me to cover? You want me to stick to Python and automating things? And by the way, regarding Python, I have something coming that's going to be using Python that's going to blow your mind, so stick around to see that. So let me know in the comments below what you want to see, what you want to see more on the channel. Should I cover other packages? Should I use just let me know what you want, guys. So with that being said, see you in the next video.